Welcome to the Explainer. There's this invisible magic that powers pretty much everything we do online, and today we're going to pull back that curtain.
Think about it. How does your food delivery app somehow talk to your bank to process a payment and, at the same time, talk to a mapping service to show you where your driver is? It all seems to just work, right? Well, the secret is a simple three-letter acronym, API. Let's really dive into what that means.
All right, so what is an API? The absolute best way to get your head around it is with a restaurant analogy.
Okay, so picture this. You're in a restaurant. You are the client. You know what you want to order. The kitchen? That's the server. It has all the ingredients and knows how to cook the food. But you can't just walk into the kitchen and start making your own meal, right? You need a go-between. That's the waiter. The waiter is the API, the application programming interface. It takes your request, goes to the kitchen, and brings back exactly what you ordered.
And that simple process is called the request-response cycle. Your app, the client, sends a request. The API, our waiter, takes that request to the server. The server does its thing, prepares the data, and then the API brings the response right back to your app. That's it. And this little loop, it's happening constantly, billions, maybe even trillions of times a second, all over the internet.
But, just like in the real world, not all waiters are the same, right? You've got different kinds of restaurants for different occasions. Same goes for APIs. So let's take a look at the API menu and the different styles of service they offer. First on the menu is the most common one you'll find, REST. Think of a REST API as your friendly, casual bistro waiter. It's super flexible, easy to work with, and it uses the same language the rest of the web speaks. Now, a key thing about REST is that it's stateless. What does that mean? It means the waiter has a terrible memory. Every single time you ask for something, it's like they've never seen you before. It treats every request as a completely new one.
Then you've got SOAP. If REST is the casual bistro waiter, SOAP is the waiter at a super formal 5-star restaurant. There's a very strict protocol, a dress code if you will. It follows a rigid set of rules using a format called XML, and it has security built right in. This is exactly why big enterprise systems and banks rely on SOAP for their most critical, sensitive transactions.
So you can really see the trade-off here, can't you? With REST, you get flexibility and speed, perfect for most web and mobile apps. With SOAP, you're trading that flexibility for rock-solid security and reliability. You wouldn't use it for a simple weather app, but you'd absolutely want it for a bank transfer.
Okay, but what if you need just insane speed? Well, for that, you've got gRPC. This is Google's baby. Forget the waiter analogy, gRPC is like a Formula One delivery driver. It doesn't use plain text, it uses super compact binary data, which can make it up to 10 times faster than REST. This is the secret sauce for services like Netflix or Uber, where they're shuffling huge amounts of data around between their internal services every millisecond.
All right, now this next one, GraphQL, is really clever. It tackles a super common problem with APIs, overfetching. Getting way more data than you actually ask for. With a standard REST API, you might ask for just a person's name, but the server sends you back their name, their address, their birthday, their dog's name, the whole shebang. It can be really inefficient.
So what GraphQL does, and it was created by Facebook, by the way, is it lets you be incredibly specific with your order. It's like telling the waiter, I want the steak, but only the steak. No potatoes, no vegetables. You write one single query asking for exactly what you need, and that's all you get back. It's incredibly efficient, which is why companies like GitHub and Shopify love it for keeping their apps snappy.
So far, we've mostly talked about you asking for data. But what about when the server needs to tell you something in real time? For that, we've got a couple of options. First, there are webhooks. Think of a webhook like a doorbell. You're not constantly asking, is the package here yet? The server just rings the bell when it arrives. It's a one-way push. On the other hand, you have WebSockets. This is like keeping an open phone line. Both you and the server can talk back and forth at any time, instantly. This is perfect for stuff like live chat apps or stock tickers.
Okay, so we've seen all these different types of APIs. So how does it all come together in the apps we use every single day? Well, this is the magic of what we call API integration.
Let's go back to that food delivery app. When you're browsing the menu, the app is probably using a REST API to pull that data from the restaurant's server. When you go to pay, it doesn't handle your credit card itself. No way. It uses a secure partner API to talk to a payment service like Stripe. Then, to show you the driver on a map, it's calling out to a public API from Google Maps. And that little notification that pops up saying your food has arrived, that's a webhook doing its job. You see, it's not one single program. It's a whole team of different services, all talking to each other through APIs.
This really brings us to the main point for any developer. You have to choose the right tool for the job. It's always a balancing act between speed, security, and how flexible you need to be.
And here's a quick cheat sheet to kind of put it all together. Building a pretty standard web or mobile app, REST is probably your go-to. Its flexibility is perfect. Handling sensitive financial data, you're going to want the reliability and security of SOAP. Connecting a bunch of small internal services, what we call microservices, where speed is everything, gRPC is an absolute game changer. The takeaway is simple. There is no single best API. It's all about understanding the problem you're trying to solve.
And one last thing to remember. Not all APIs are out there for everyone to use. A ton of them are actually private, used only inside a company to make their own systems talk to each other. Then you have partner APIs, like the example with Stripe for payments, shared with specific, trusted businesses. And then of course you have the public APIs, like a Weather API or a Maps API, that are open for any developer in the world to get creative with.
Okay, so after all that, what's the big picture here? What should you really take away from this?
Well, it's this. APIs are the invisible backbone of our entire connected world. They're the fundamental building blocks that let all these different pieces of software talk to each other. They let developers stand on the shoulders of giants, connecting to powerful services instead of having to build everything from scratch. It's how we can create these incredibly powerful, complex apps that feel so simple to use.
Ultimately, APIs are the language of modern software. And if you understand the basics of how they work, you really understand how our digital future is being built, one request and one connection at a time. What will we build next? Well, with APIs connecting everything, the possibilities are pretty much endless. Thanks for watching.